What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Kaiju number 8, season 2. This is episode 6, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Well, following up on that crazy last episode in which Shinomiya's father was literally absorbed by Kaiju number 9, Kafka and Narumi are literally trying to keep number 9 from getting away. I mean, they do manage. I mean, at times it looks like Kafka has some trouble, but I guess with combined strength of Kafka and Narumi, they were able to land some solid shots at number 9 to the point where they just pretty much like dismember him in several places, but not enough to, get to his core to kill him.
Yeah, and then after they do enough damage to him, I guess he tries to, blow himself up. And at the last minute, Kafka tries to shield Shinomiya from the blast, and it somehow manages. Well, they both him and Narumi kind of get out of it unscathed, which seems to surprise Kaiju number 9. And they basically try to inflict a little bit more damage to him, but he ends up kind of splitting himself in two, and basically doing what he did before. But essentially, he manages to get away. But his, I think, the lower half of his body, it does, they do inflict, a lot of damage to him. But, of course, it's not enough to, to really, to really do enough to, do anything much to him. It just seems like he's more annoyed, if anything. But, it does seem like they actually do something to him. But, of course, it's just not enough to actually stop him. And he still, of course, has director assimilated into himself, so technically he's not really, so I guess you could say he's not really dead per se, but he's been just like I said, just assimilated into Kaiju number 9. But they do treat the director as if he had he had perished in battle, so they kind of end up having a funeral service for him, to which Shinomiya doesn't actually attend. I guess because she just feels like she's just a failure for not having been able to really help her father. So she's kind of wallowing in self-pity, but eventually she uses her motivation. She motivates herself to try to get stronger in order to save her father.
She doesn't even believe that he's technically dead. Just somewhat a part of number 9 in some aspects, but I guess she's like you said, she's going to train harder alongside all the other members of the Defense Force to take down number 9. And of course, it's it applies to everybody else. But one interesting thing that we discover is Kafka's transformation is starting to slowly become more permanent the more he transforms.
Yeah, we see that a part of his hand has not really regenerated back into human skin. It still has his, I guess, kaiju flesh underneath. So I guess we're not really sure how it works exactly, but it seems the more he transforms into Kaiju number 8, the more risk there is of him eventually, they say, he might not be able to turn back into his human self.
So Kafka pretty much takes his time just heading back to his old home because he hasn't been back ever since he joined the Defense Force. Of course, he's being tailed by 2 members of the Defense Force just to keep an eye on him. So Kafka, of course, he gets back home, cleans up his old apartment building, and then he heads over to the battlefield to meet up with his old cleanup crew.
Yeah, so he just kind of catches up with his former Kaiju disposal unit co-workers, and they just kind of show him some new equipment. They've got a new saw, I guess, they use to cut through some of the Kaiju. And
I guess in a way, this feels like Kafka. He knows things are going bad for him. In a way, he's just basically just saying, I don't know. It feels like he's just saying his last goodbyes to his crew without really even telling him what's going on.
Yeah, it did kind of I mean, I guess it did kind of feel that way. Um, I mean, obviously, like it does feel like Kaiju number 9 is kind of being set up as like, well, I mean, he had kind of been set up that way since season 1, but you know, he's, at least for now, he's like the main villain. But then there's also some interesting things, I guess, that the Kaiju Defense Force are doing, that we get a glimpse of at the end of the episode. Like, we get a tease for it because there are some Kaiju Defense Force members looking at what looks to be some kind of a, I guess, like some kind of some kind of incubation tank. But it's revealed at the end of the episode that the tank contains Kaiju number 10, and they've been, I guess, preserving him for some reason.
Well, I guess the reason why is because they're looking to convert number 10 into some kind of weapon, which I assume will be.
Yeah. Obviously, it's so they can potentially use him for their own means, but I predict it's not going to go the way they think it is. I could assume
if they were to convert him into a weapon, like I would assume that weapon would go to Shoshiro, because he was the one who one of the main people who ended up defeating him back in season 1.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of where like the episode ends, is sort of like a cliffhanger, in a way, I guess, like just teasing the I guess potentially like Kaiju number 10 coming back into the plot. But yeah, I mean, basically Shinomiya is trying to get stronger. She's just like currently training to get stronger so that she can try to rescue her father. And then I guess Kafka as well is probably, I guess we'll probably see him go through his own like maybe like training montage, or maybe he'll try to figure out how to better control Kaiju number 8. But it's obvious that no matter, it seems like no matter what he does, that the more he transforms into Kaiju number 8, the more it's going to have like lasting effects on him regardless.
Yeah, I mean, well, still, like things are right now don't look too good for Kafka, because we don't even know like how like his like that little instant where of him transforming into Kaiju number 8 was just completely out of nowhere. Basically, like if you remember back in episode 1, it's just some random looking parasitic creature that just got inside him and then just transformed him. Why that happened is not really clear, but I guess we might get an answer maybe later.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even really hinted at giving us any answers as to like what the creature was or why it even chose Kafka in the first place. But yeah, overall, I would say it was a pretty decent episode. I mean, I kind of figured what was going to, that was going to be what happened to the director, is that he was just going, he was going to technically be like a part of Kaiju number 9. And he's he's not really dead, but I get the feeling that that Shinomiya eventually, like when she does confront Kaiju number 9 again, she'll probably have to end up like putting her father in a way like out of his misery, because there's probably like no way that he's going to be able to go back to normal. But I mean, we don't know for sure, but I get the feeling that's where they're going with it. He's, no matter what she does, she's not really going to be able to like to save him or sort of like bring him back to being like a normal human again. Yeah, so I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, we did get like a moment with her and Narumi. I kind of thought that Kafka was going to be the one to sort of like I guess have a talk with her after what happened, but I don't know. I guess maybe he felt like, I don't know. I guess Narumi was the one that he kind of like, she tried to, I guess, motivate her. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, overall though, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. I don't really have much else to say about it, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about
it. What else they can really do. It feels like that they're already heading into a final confrontation with number 9. If I remember correctly, the manga series has just finished. So, but I would imagine that finale won't be saved up until like maybe by season 3 or something like that, because. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it just. I haven't even read the manga, up to this point. So I don't know like what other stories they're gonna end up telling before their fight to number 9.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.